right. He is our guy, the guide to entertainment. Every Friday we check in with him, the Culture Blaster. He writes his column for the Marina Times. He comes in on a rainbow of magic. He's Michael Snyder, everybody. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, hi, gentlemen. Hey, look, whatever you do, don't mess up my tempo, okay? Just don't.
It's going to be hard with this delay.
Oh, yeah, we're on the Zoom delay, but it's cool. Once he gets going, you don't feel it. Just kind of kills the back and forth a little bit. We love your tempo. I think I've used up some of your time, so you can get splashing any time you want. I was talking about how much I like the Bee Gees documentary, and it's not just about disco at all. It's really it gets into their lives and gets into the dynamics of the group, and it gets into that whole disco craze and how the hating on disco actually had underneath it a lot of homophobia and racism. It's a fascinating documentary. It's on HBO Max. So I get you kicked off with that.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about my favorite movies of the year, including a bunch of music documentaries when we get back from vacation at the beginning of the year. I have a column in the January Marina Times about, reflections on the movies of 2020. But let's get to what's opening this weekend and this coming week, because there's some fascinating stuff. Some of the movies among the best of the year. Let's kick off with Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. It's a screen adaptation of playwright August Wilson's award-winning period drama, primarily set at a recording session in 1927 Chicago, and it crackles with righteous anger and kind of shimmies with vintage musical motifs as it depicts the tension between a legendary blues singer, the members of her band, and the white manager and white record company owner trying to cut some tracks on a terribly hot day. But most of all, this is a showcase for brilliant performances by two actors at the top of their respective games. Viola Davis is a combustible diva, Ma Rainey, historically known as the mother of the blues, and in his last screen role, the late Chadwick Boseman plays the talented, arrogant trumpet player with a tragic backstory and a yen for solo stardom. It occasionally shows its theater roots, but director George Wolfe keeps it all churning and throws in a couple colorful exteriors. And then he just lets Davis and Boseman and the rest of the cast work their magic. Chadwick, you are magnificent, although he looked gaunt here, and now we know why. It was appropriate for his lean and angry character. T'Challa, you are missed. That's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, available now on Netflix.
Can I just ask you real quick, because those characters are actual characters from history, right? You're talking about, right?
Well, Ma Rainey is, and she had some sidemen, and we see some vintage photographs, one of which depicts a guy that looks very much like the trumpet player Levy, whatever his pronunciation was, played by Boseman. So,
Okay, cool. That's interesting.
It doesn't matter. It's a powerful piece of work. Powerful. Okay, Tenet is the latest super ambitious sci-fi action movie from filmmaker Christopher Nolan, one of his complex Mobius strip films like Inception, but unlike Inception, which somehow made sense to me with its worlds within dreams, within worlds within dreams theme, Tenet, which concerns a sort of temporal war pitting a black ops agent against a force from the future that wants to destroy the world in the past, our present. It stretched my imagination and my suspension of disbelief so far that it kind of snapped like a rubber band and hit me square in the face. In any case, I don't want to spoil it for anyone because it is worth watching for the visual spectacle, but Tenet fails to explain the hows and whys of its time travel mechanism, which is a linchpin of the story, other than to say that a scientist discovered a way to reverse entropy in objects, allowing them to move in reverse through time using what we in science fiction fandom refer to as hand wavium. Yeah, I don't know what it's about. It just sort of it's anyway. So
the critical thing in the story, they never explain actually how that's. They don't even. You're suggesting they don't even put together some sort of flimsy explanation as to how they can do the time travel.
Give me the hand wavium. I need a dose of it, but no. Anyway, John David Washington is our near indestructible agent. Robert Pattinson is his fellow spy. Elizabeth Debicki is a beautiful, leggy damsel in distress, prisoner of her husband, who is an international supervillain and our hero's archenemy, and is played by Kenneth Branagh in scenery-chewing mode. He's chomping down on the scenery. You get Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Clemence Poesy, and the great Michael Caine in what amounts to a cameo. There are exciting, seriously dazzling sequences, but nothing holds together narratively. It's like that quote Letterman does, quoting George Miller, buy the premise and you'll buy the bit. I didn't buy the premise. Anyway, I wanted Tenet to be as cool, intricate, and ultimately satisfying a puzzle as Nolan's Memento or The Prestige or Inception, but nope. I kind of wish Nolan went back in time before he shot this to fix the script. No such luck. You can watch Tenet on Fandango now, Vudu, Amazon Prime Video, and other comparable locations on your internets. Hard to believe, but I'm going to recommend the sci-fi action movie starring B-movie hunk Gerard Butler over Tenet. But here goes. Greenland stars Butler and the lovely Marina Baccarin as an estranged husband and wife with a diabetic son who are chosen as part of the government's plan to fly select people to an underground sanctuary when a planet-destroying comet is discovered to not be a simple flyby, but is instead heading directly towards Earth. So the comet's biggest chunk is going to flatten Europe, creating a fireball that will scorch the entirety of the globe. But there are bunkers that the U.S. government has built for such an emergency. The problem is getting to and on the planes that'll take the selected to safety. So it's going to be a problem for, the husband, wife, and the kid. It ain't going to be an easy journey, and it isn't. But this is fun, and the movie even reminded me a bit of that old George Pal sci-fi classic from the 50s, When Worlds Collide, and in a good way. It's the modern equivalent. I was entertained. Again, B-movie, but hey, have a little fun on Vudu or Amazon Prime Video. I want to quickly talk brief about some upcoming films next week. We won't get in great depth, but Pixar's latest animated delight, Soul, is among the studio's best. It's ambitious, it's beautifully rendered, and getting all metaphysical with the story of Joe, a genial public school music teacher voiced by Jamie Foxx, who's on the verge of realizing his dream to play piano with a renowned jazz combo. Alas, he succumbs to an accident, and his spirit is heaven-bound until it falls into a kind of a limbo-like way station for souls who have yet to be born. There he meets a recalcitrant soul, voiced by Tina Fey, who fears the challenges of life, doesn't want to go to Earth, but they become reluctant partners in Joe's attempt to revive his body back here on terra firma, jammed with great music from John Batiste from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, directed by Pete Docter of Inside Out, Up, and Finding Nemo fame. Soul is a sweet and soulful ride into one man's psyche and beyond. It'll be on Disney Plus on Christmas Day. Totally wonderful for the entire family.
Well, this is a great little list. And by the way, I'll go through the list again quickly. And then I want to thank you for a movie that you recommended in a prior appearance here on the show. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. You love it. And can't get enough of it. Tenet, you don't love as much. You feel it's disappointing. In fact, there was a text I thought I saw.
Why don't you just text it?
Let me just find it for you, Michael Snyder. I totally agree with his analysis. This is from the 831. I totally agree with his analysis of the movie Tenet. The time travel and reversing of time was very clumsy. Wildly disappointed. Especially in comparison to Christopher Nolan's brilliant films that came before it. You still say kind of worth a watch, though, right?
But visually stunning and exciting sequences. No question. He's masterful as a director. It's the script that was like, what?
Yeah. And Greenland, you really liked it even more. You said, hey, look, you want a sci-fi movie? Go for this from Gerard Butler. He's playing the lead, and that's kind of a wild premise. And I want to thank you for The Sound of Metal. I watched that, and wow, it was just what you said it was, which is great. So thank you, Michael Snyder.
One of my best films of the year. And again, don't forget Soul on Disney Plus, a movie that really was meant to be seen in a theater, but because of our current circumstances, Disney said, let's just get this out to the people for Christmas. It's a beauty. There are other things opening next week in various locations like The Midnight Sky and Promising Young Woman and Tom Hanks in News of the World. But I don't know. Two of them are theatrical releases, and The Midnight Sky's on Netflix.
You're down to 5% battery.
I know. He's going through a list. What am I supposed to do? Cut the guy off?
No,
what is going on around here? The guy gives generously of his time. I'm not going to cut him off. No, Michael, we're done. I'm sorry. I've got to cut you off.
Hey, I've had enough. I've had enough of you. Hey, Merry
Michael
Christmas,
Snyder.
Happy New Year, Happy Holidays to everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, goodbye, Michael Snyder. You can find him in the Marina Times. We'll check in with Pat Thurston next. KGO 810.